Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here, back with my very first LEGO Star Wars Summer Set 2015 review. So to start off this new line of sets, or rather this new half line of sets, we have the Death Star Final Duel, set number 75093, ages 8 to 14, covers 724 pieces, and is retailing for £70 or $80. So, before everyone asks, I got this from Amazon UK, so if you live in the UK, then go to Amazon and you'll find pretty much all the sets there. I think some of them still take a while to deliver, but yeah, you can find them there, so yeah, there you go for my UK community LEGO people. But anyway, so the final Duel, this set, I've got to say, is yeah, I think as we all agree, it's pretty cool. It's got a few things I'm kind of interested in, specifically this Darth Vader helmet. I'm still on the fence about which one I like more, to be honest with you. I suppose just in looks for minifigure, I kind of am gearing towards the old one, but that might just because I'm so used to it, I don't know. But anywho, so this set is pretty cool though, there's a lot about it. I mean, realistically though, I'm not sure I would use this instead of mock or stop motion just because of how not size accurate it is and various other things like that. But as a play set, and as just a little thing to have, it is very, very cool. Because if you may not know, I'm not a massive fan of the scenes sets, if you understand what I mean. As in like the Mos Eisley Cantina, Duel and Geonosis, these sort of things, I'm not a massive fan. But Palpatine's Arrest and this set are the only ones I really, really like. And this actually has a lot of similarities to Palpatine's Arrest, which obviously, you know, is expected since it's technically his throne room and, well, he's Palpatine. But, actually more than you may think, not just like the doors or whatever, but yeah, anyway. But yeah, that's more or less my general overview. I don't want to make this review too long, because I've decided, no, screw that, I'm not making them too long. I'm literally going to stick to the facts, stick to the playability and features and stuff like that, and let's just go into it right now, starting off with the minifigures. Alright, so starting off we have Luke Skywalker. This I believe is the new version, but I've got to be honest with you, the latest Luke Skywalker I've ever had in minifigure form is from the Death Star, which came out in Turn 8. I haven't actually gotten Luke Skywalker minifigure from any other set earlier, even though there has been some. Desert Skiff and I believe the Ewok Village, I don't remember. But yeah, so this Luke Skywalker minifigure, though, is pretty cool. I'm sure a lot of this isn't actually new, it's just new to me, but the torso printing seems pretty cool. Not really much there, because there's no leg printing, but as with quite a few of these minifigures who wear mostly black or mostly one colour, there isn't really a lot of LEGO can do. You know, there's only so much printing they can put on any one minifigure, so there you go. But even so, it is a pretty nice torso, I guess, for what you want. I believe there was a Luke Skywalker minifigure which had like an end of the fight with Darth Vader. Some of you may notice, like his, what is this, I don't know, jacket? No, I don't know, whatever he's wearing. It's not really ripped, but like it's opened and there's white on the other side. Hopefully some of you understand what I'm talking about, because I sound a bit of like an idiot right now, but even so. You've got the black hand and the flesh hand, which is pretty cool, but really nothing too special here. The hair printing is a slightly different shade, although we may have got this before as well, I'm not sure. My Luke Skywalker LEGO minifigures experience is not too vast, but even so. It is still pretty cool though. I think it is more accurate because before we just got a regular blonde, which I think is more accurate to maybe his episode 4 or 5 versions, but as he went to episode 6, his hair did slightly go a bit darker into this kind of, I don't know how you describe it, sort of sandish, dark, you know, I don't know, dirty sand colour? Is that a thing? I don't know. But yeah, he's got a standard green lightsaber and stuff like that. But he's a pretty cool minifigure. I mean, really expect him in the set. There's really nothing amazing special here, especially if you've had other sets before, such as the Ewok Village and other recent sets. Then you'll probably have a Luke Skywalker minifigure, and he's not really anything special. You more or less expect him. But yeah, he's still a pretty nice minifigure nonetheless. And I think let's just now move on to the main attraction set, the one everyone wants to see, the new Darth Vader. Right, so next up we have, of course, Darth Vader. Now, everything about him is actually exactly the same as we got before. This is the Darth Vader from the Star Destroyer that came out last year. So you can see the printing is extremely similar. If I just try to move his lightsaber to try and put that out of the way. But it is extremely similar in many ways. In fact, I would say completely identical. I mean, it's still pretty good because, of course, the printing is very, very nice. But there's really nothing to say there. Cape's the same. There's no back printing because of the cape. I mean, there's no real need. And besides, we never see his back, so how could LEGO ever guess what his back's like? It's probably pretty black anyway. But anyway, so The main, of course, difference and attraction that a lot of people are divided about is, of course, the helmet. Now, I just want to point out one thing. Of course, the helmet itself is different, but the fact, not just different, the helmet, but also the fact it comes in 2 pieces. I'm trying to move it. Now, technically, this is not the first time this ever happened. We did get this before in, I believe, Rogue Shadow or something. That Force Unleashed set, where you can have like a damaged version of his helmet and then a normal version. So that's pretty cool, but it's nice to get it again. I suppose I do like that aspect, the fact it's technically more accurate. And if you want to do like a stop motion of like that famous scene at the end of episode 6, this would be a lot easier. His facial expression is, well, I've got to be honest, it's kind of weird. I don't know, it kind of looks like he's smiling, smirking in one sense. That doesn't strike me as Darth Vader. You could say, oh, this is when he turned back to the light side, because that's really the only time you see his face, so I suppose that's kind of more helpful. But I don't even think he was smirking then, he was kind of dying, so I don't recall any point where he's actually smiling. But nonetheless, he still looks pretty cool. His head and, like, the colour and all that reminds me very much of Voldemort, to be honest with you. With the wrinkles and kind of ugly eyes and all this stuff, and the lack of nose. It reminds me a lot of Voldemort, but it's still pretty cool. To be honest with you, I think, neither of which are actually completely accurate, but to be honest, I still prefer this head that we got in the Star Destroyer. I know neither of which the colour could be accurate. I suppose the accurate one would be the one in between these 2 shades. But I still probably prefer this one. It strikes me more as Darth Vader, more decrepit, more burnt by the lava. This one, I don't know, it almost seems more child-friendly, to be honest with you, which is kind of weird. But even so, despite the fact that technically it's in 2 pieces, you can see you cannot really see the face whatsoever once the helmet is on, which is good, you know, because you want it to actually go around, like, unlike some clone helmets or things, you may be able to see the neck. For example, this Darth Vader helmet, you can technically still see the neck there, and if you go at certain angles, you know, that's a problem. But this is completely closed off, which is very nice. Now, a little thing that some people have been saying is the fact that when you turn aside, he kind of looks like he's looking up. I've got to agree with you there. He does kind of look like he's looking upwards. I don't really know what that's about. But even so, I still think it's a pretty cool helmet. Now, I'm still completely divided whether I like this more or less. I suppose it looks more accurate just within itself. But it does seem a little big. It seems a little, I don't know, smooth in one sense. Is it just me? Something about it seems a little smooth. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, it's still a very nice minifigure. I'm glad we got a new one. We'll see if this works out. We'll see if more people like it or dislike it. Either way, I've got both, so I don't really mind which one they continue to use. It's still a pretty cool minifigure to me, and it still strikes me as Darth Vader, of course. But there you go. So that's more than 6 to Darth Vader. Let's just keep moving on to Chancellor Palpatine. So next up we have here Chancellor Palpatine, aka the Emperor. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the exact, apart from the face, this is the exact same one we got in the visual dictionary, not visual dictionary, what was this, Dark Side book. This exclusive minifigure, and this is kind of what I think a lot of people are annoyed about, not specifically this minifigure, but also having with the Clone Lieutenant and maybe some other promotional figures, is the fact that they kind of come in sets a little later down the road, so they're not as exclusive. That's a kind of bummer because, of course, Chancellor Palpatine is actually a pretty rare minifigure. Well, at least he was. You only really find him in pretty expensive sets or pretty exclusive sets, like from really, you know, years and years ago. And that's why the Dark Side book was so, well, partially so cool, because it's a promotional figure, which is kind of cool. But now we've got another version. It's kind of annoying. Kind of same situation as a Clone Lieutenant, but, you know, we'll have to deal with it. Anyway. So the printing is exactly the same. If you have the book, then you'll basically know exactly the same. In fact, they both come... No. Sorry, no, actually, no, this one didn't come with lightning. I just gave him lightning. I just remembered. But yeah. Anyway, so he comes with no back printing and a black hood. Of course, he has a double-sided face. This one kind of reminds me of Scarecrow. What is with all the characters? You've got Voldemort, Scarecrow, jeez. Anyway, yeah. And then moving around, we've got the other dark, you know, bad guy face. This one is slightly different. His teeth seem to be white here and yellow, which is technically more accurate. This is a joke about, you know, there are no dentists in the Star Wars universe, but anyway. So yeah, whichever looks cooler. This, in one sense, this kind of looks a bit more menacing in the way he's almost enjoying watching other people die or something. But even so, it's still kind of cool. We've got Chancellor Palpatine there. Of course, a very good addition. If we hadn't got him in the Dark Side book, this would have been a lot more exclusive, I suppose. But of course, you had to have him in the set. I'm not saying they shouldn't have given him, just, yeah, basically, really. Yeah. But very good, accurate representation. By the way, these hands are slightly different shade, not normal flesh colour, just to point out. But anyway, that's more or less it. The minifigures. Oh no, sorry, there's the guards, but these are more or less it to the good minifigures, the one everyone cares about. But that is more or less it. Then let's just go and move on to the Royal Guards. Alright, so next up, of course, we have the Royal Guards, another minifigure expected with it in this set. These are pretty cool, I guess. I believe they were exactly the same ones as we got in the Death Star Battle Pack, I believe, from 2014, I think? I don't know. So yeah, we've got this staff, which not many people like, but I think it's still pretty accurate. It looks very much like what they had. However, in episode 3, they more had like spear type things, so it's not really accurate to that, but even so. I'm glad, I probably said this in the 2014 review, but I'm glad they gave us slightly different shades of like the cape and the arms, to give a bit of differentiation, whatever. So that's pretty cool, I guess, you know. And of course, if I haven't mentioned it before, the cape is actually a different shade on, like, depending on which side you put it on. For example, you see in the inside it is dark red, and on the outside it is light red. I do believe I put it on the right way, I hope. I don't know. But yeah, he doesn't have any leg printing or anything like that, and he has a solid black head. Really nothing too special here. The torso printing, I think it could be a little improved, just because it hasn't changed whatsoever, I think, ever. I just remember it hasn't changed at least since Turn 6, because the Turn 6 Royal Guards were exactly the same. I remember because I have to. But, yeah, but even so, they're pretty cool. I guess they just more or less stand outside. We only see them for literally 30 seconds in episode 6. I mean, and we see them less than that in episode 3. But they seem to have had a lot of minifigure versions of them. Anyway, but that's more or less it. They are pretty cool minifigures. I'm glad we got them. But yeah, if you probably already have a few if you got the Death Star Battle Pack. So really nothing too special. But even so, they are pretty cool. And let's just now move on to the set itself. Alright, so moving on to the set itself, I just want to point out, first of all, you do get a brick separator, nothing too special there. I think we've got a lot of sets. I've got like a little army of them, as everyone does. It's just so going on the set, I'm not going to lie, it is a little delicate. Now, of course, it's not really meant, like, it's not a vehicle in any way, so it's something to fly about or move or anything. But I'm just saying that really there's no good way to pick this up, maybe other than just like picking up from the bottom, like trying to scoop it up. I really would not recommend picking it up from anywhere else. I would not recommend pulling it up or anything like that. It really is not meant for that. Even, and quite frankly, you probably need to have two hands, even though it's not that large of a set, and even though you can, like, weight-wise, you can carry one. A lot of this is a bit flimsy. If I just try to pick it up, for example, I genuinely have to do this delicately. Look, you can see there's a bit of a bend here. I mean, these things are kind of bending off. That might be the reason why these two things can connect to the body. That probably makes it a little sturdier. You can actually see there that clip. And that obviously does the exact same. That does make it a little sturdier, but even so, you can still see these bend down a little. Now, again, of course, it is not a vehicle, so it's not really meant to move. But even so, that is a little thing I'd mention that really, once you put it on a shelf, once you've done that, really, I would not recommend moving about too much whatsoever. Also, bear in mind, you cannot really pick it up like this. It is pretty fragile. I mean, you know, there's not a lot of support here in many ways. Even this bit, which may look a little sturdy, it really isn't. It's just kind of, yeah. But anyway, so we'll just start at the front then, I suppose. Hopefully I'm going to try and do this without actually breaking on me, but that's not as easy as it may look. Alright, so the front, I think this is one of the aspects that everyone, you know, the reason why everyone keeps thinking it looks a lot like Palpatine's arrest, now other than just the fact, of course, it's Palpatine's, you know, area, the doors look very, very similar. Now, of course, the colour's different, but the way they function are exactly the same. You simply pull them out, whatever, they do respond to gravity, so yeah, but of course, again, it is meant to be on the floor, so it's not really an issue. But yeah, so they're extremely simple. They're, well, doors, more or less. You know, I think you can probably guess how they work. They're basically as simple as doors can get, but yeah, the detail, I suppose, is kind of nice. You got some pretty cool pieces down here, which may be useful, although, of course, you don't get a massive amount of them, so not very good for, like, building or whatever, but even so. Moving along. Here, on the way up, I suppose, we've got this thing, which is kind of cool. Simply, you put Luke on there or something, and then went to flip up. Yeah, that's actually another feature we actually got in Palpatine's Arrest. They're very similar. This set is very similar in a lot of ways, including this function. So, although it was placed somewhere else on the set, but even so. Of course, you may already know that this comes out, and you see, look, it looks extremely flimsy like that, so yeah. But, yeah, really nothing much to say there. It just kind of comes out to extend it. Some may ask, why doesn't it just out permanently? But I actually kind of like the fact it goes in. Kind of makes it more compact. It's definitely a lot easier for storage. And also, in all honesty, it kind of looks a bit flimsy like that. I mean, of course, this entire set is not size accurate and is meant to be considerably larger. But, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it could be a bit more sturdy. Like, it could actually look a bit more sturdy. Because look at that. I mean, it really, in my opinion, does not go with the set. It is a very small walkway. I mean, I don't really know why that's there, to be honest with you. But, yeah, even so, I guess it's kind of cool. Bear in mind, of course, because of these hinges you see there, you cannot extend the platform, as such, once these things are connected. You cannot do that. But, you know, I suppose it's not a bigger issue. You know, you can do what you like. Moving on, you've got some nice detail here on these, I don't know what you'd call them, but they're pretty cool. We've got the very similar design in, like, the Death Star. Very similar, very, very cool. Of course, under here is meant to be the scene. Oops, oh gosh, see, you can see the problem here. Under here is meant to be where, like, the scene happens where Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, where they have sort of a chat, if you will, where they're talking about, I don't know, like, Luke, Leia stuff. Yeah, that's meant to happen around there. So that's pretty cool. Very nice detailing on the chair and other things like this. Sorry, I can't show you too well. Also, showing you, I can't show you, but there is a lightsaber. It simply falls down in there. That I presume to be Emperor Palpatine's. I mean, this scene isn't that accurate whatsoever. I mean, I suppose it's meant to entail when Luke forces lightsaber to his hand, but really, a fair amount in the set kind of is like, why is that there? But even so, you see this here. You simply push it up. This obviously goes up, firing the lightsaber out. Oops, oh well, whatever, and it goes flying over the air. Pretty cool. In here, we have stickers. You can't see that very well, I'm sorry about that, but of course this is going to be shaft, which Charles Palpatine falls down when Darth Vader throws him down. Spoiler alert. But it did come in like 1983, so really you should have seen it by now. But yeah. I think really the last feature then, of course, the chair does move, but you know, you got some detailing. Oh no, sorry, not the last feature. The stairs, which very much remind me of the Kingdom of Crystal Skull from Indiana Jones set. If you've got that set, you may know what I'm talking about. But in that particular set, these stairs, you could turn this knob and they would flip up, like it was meant to be a trap, because obviously Indiana Jones, you know, the temples are known for having lots of traps. I don't recall this feature whatsoever in like this particular scene, but even so, simply you turn this knob here. Yeah, I deliberately try to do it not too hard so I wouldn't lose them across the room, but effectively that's what happens. It's only those two steps, and yeah, again, I do not remember the scene whatsoever. Maybe just try and put more features in here because it's meant to be more child friendly. But if it was meant to be more child friendly, could they make it a little more sturdy? I don't know, but whatever. You also got a scene down here where simply this, you know, obviously you're meant to knock it and go flying down. A minifigure's meant to be up there. This feature also came in the Death Star, obviously a lot smaller version of the scene, and I didn't know what it was. Now I realise this is the scene where Darth Vader throws his lightsaber, and you know, Luke falls to the ground and that stuff. Family Guy made a very funny version of that, but I won't go into that. Yeah, but anyway. And I think the last feature then is just simply these windows come down like so. Really nothing too special there. Although the printing is very, very nice. I'm glad they didn't just give us the standard TIE Fighter sort of windows. I'm just glad they did give us some different printing. This printing is very, very cool. And you may think because these are kind of repetitive, the build would be kind of boring. It actually wasn't, funny enough. I preferred the build on this set to the Shuttle Tidarium, in all honesty. I wasn't a massive fan of the build on the Shuttle Tidarium. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't. But, yeah, so, that is more it for this set, I do believe. I've almost definitely left something out, but, I mean, you see there, this is what I was talking about. I literally just was trying to pull it up with one finger, and it just came off. So you can see, pretty weak. Although I suppose that is probably the design of it, so it's easier to get into this section. As I said before, this is the scene where Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader having the chat about Leia. Not literate chat, but you understand what I mean. But yeah, more or less, I think that is more or less it to the set. A very nice set. I'm trying to cut this review down, by the way. If you may notice, I'm trying to speak a little quickly, but I'm trying to cut it down because I think my review's gone too long. But a very, very cool set. I am definitely liking it. I think it is well worth the money, or well, yeah, no, I would say it's worth the money. I mean, especially compared to the rest of this line. And of course, we've only had half the line as of yet, but I think it's definitely a pretty good set. Worth the money. A little cheaper maybe would have been nice, but I'd still say it's worth the money. I think this is more of a play set. Although that is of course not to say that like teenagers and adults won't have use for this and won't find it cool. Of course the Darth Vader in itself is a cool minifigure, and I think it can, you know, it's interesting to have. But yeah, I think this is more of a playset, as I just said, than anything else. But it is still a cool set, and I am glad I picked it up. I mean, this is Shot Titanium. I think there are only really, really good sets this line. The other sets are kind of eh. But, yes. Anyway, so that's more or less it for the set, I would say. Let's now go on to the instruction manual in the box and then conclude this review. Alright, so moving on to the instruction manual, to be very quick about this. It only comes with one instruction manual, which is kind of expected. It's not that big of a set. But, so, just moving on, we have this advertisement Star Drive, which is kind of cool. Normally we don't get advertisements for other things, like, outside of it, almost. Like, this is the original trilogy set, so normally you'd only find advertisements for original trilogy sets, if you understand what I mean. But, yeah, just another advertisement for Lego Stars. Really nothing too special there. And you've got all this stuff. I believe it's 6 numbered bags, which is pretty cool. Moving to the back, we've got all the minifigures that actually come with this line, I believe. Is this all of them? I think it is, yeah. Although, of course, we do have some minifigures that we do not have as of yet. I think it's from the Infiltrator, Sith Infiltrator coming later this year. Maybe. It looks, I mean, I really hope that. Because if you haven't seen it, it's a confidential image we have of yet, of the Sith Infiltrator that should be coming out later. God knows, I hope it is a different set in reality, because I know sometimes the confidentiality pictures may actually be a little different than they're actually going to be. I hope it's a lot different, because it looks awful, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, even so. And of course we've got the 5 sets from this particular line, which are pretty cool. I have got that, I'm getting that, and I may get that, we will see. But, yeah, 2 pages of, like, infantry, quite a lot, I'd say. But, yeah, more or less, like, 101-ish pages to build. So, you know, a pretty standard build, nothing too special about this instruction manual, nothing to scream about. It's a pretty standard one, what do you expect? And that is more to the instruction manual. Let's go on to the box. So the box is pretty standard, nothing too special to say about this. It's a pretty cool box, I suppose, but really, just like the instruction manual, it's more or less what you'd expect. I kind of had to, by excuses, I kind of had to, well, actually I cut myself trying to open this, but that's not the point. But yeah, so of course we have the minifigures at the top, some pretty cool ones there, you know, all this stuff, very nice. Just going through the features, as I said before, you can flip Luke off that, the stairs do all the different things. He can fall down there. By the way, just pointing out, this chamber where he falls down is hollow, so technically you can pick it up and he will be underneath. I guess it's kind of a cool feature. It saves you having to turn the entire thing upside down to try and get him out again. But even so, so this is pretty cool. Really nothing amazing special here. Now, if you haven't already guessed, there's not really a lot of space to do this particular battle, because of course it is a very small set. To do up here would be nearly impossible. So realistically, if you want to do a mock or stop motion of the scene, I'd recommend perhaps getting this and making a bigger version of it. You know, getting more parts like this off Bricklink and making a much larger sort of scene, because realistically I think it wouldn't look nearly as good if you actually use this set as it was, but you know, that's just my opinion. But it's a pretty standard box. It's actually in some, like, it's actually longer than the Tydirium box, just pointing it out if you're interested. Like the Shard Tydirium box is actually longer, but yeah. Anyway, so that's more or less it to the box. I think we'll now just go on into the conclusion. Alright, so in conclusion, this set is a very good set. I think it is more playability set, and I think probably more geared towards younger audiences, quite frankly, mainly because how delicate it is, and it's more, I think, based around features rather than actual, like, you know, the proper thing. And also, I've got to be honest with you, now that I really think about it, Darth Vader, his new helmet looks almost a little more childish. I know in one sense it does look more accurate, because it's so sort of oversized compared to his body. I don't know, it just reminds me of that guy from Spaceballs, quite frankly. But even so, this set is definitely very, very good. It does have some cons which I think they could have improved on. Now, I'm not going to lie, when you put it together, it does become more sturdy, which is, of course, very helpful. But I wish you didn't have to do that. I wish it can be sturdy in and of itself, and there are some aspects where I'd say maybe a little improvement can be made there, but overall I'd say it's a very good set. I'd give it a good 8 out of 10. Really, there aren't many areas that could improve. Maybe, I mean, if they make a full scale, I think a full scale, maybe not necessarily UCS, but like a larger, very big version of the scene, that would be amazing. That would be an amazing scene, like have it to scale, have all the different features all around. I think that would be amazing, and yeah, really, quite frankly. But, hey, we can all dream. Anyway, but nonetheless, I think it's definitely a very good set, worth the money, and definitely if you've got, because really, I mean, just counting this half line, if you will, I would say it's definitely one of the best sets. This and Shot of Tydirium are one of the very, very good ones. I actually also like the Assault Carrier, but not as many people do, but personally, I really, really like it, but that's by the by. But yeah, so if you don't have the scene, if you don't have these characters, like maybe you didn't get the books, you don't have him, maybe somehow you don't have Darth Vader, he seems pretty whatever, but you know, I think it's a good way to get them as well, so it's still a good scene, and even if you want to part it out, it's still good for that, because it's got some pretty cool parts, pretty cool colours, and well, some pretty cool colours, and yeah, but it's a good set, and I gave it an 8 out of 10, well deserving. But yeah, so that is more or less it to my review of the Death Star Final Duel, set number 75093. If you like this review, please do give it a like down below and all that stuff. Leave any suggestions down in the comments. The next review hopefully will be coming up tomorrow. No promises. Will be Shadow Tydirium. And that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in another review coming very, very soon. Bye, troops. Definitely one of the most anticipated sets of this line, and I think this and the Shot of Tydirium are the ones with everyone... Really? Really? Damn it, R2. It's still pretty cool. What the hell? What? This piece just... What the hell? This piece just came off. What the hell is this? What? I don't understand how that happened. What? I can't even put it back on. Oh, there we go. How did it come off? Oh my days.